Hasan Piker how Hasan Piker became our generation's top political pundit. Let's see what we got here. Here we go. A nice positive telling of Hasan. I bet Hasan's happy that somebody's finally speaking positively of him, because most, outside of people he works with, like Twitch streamers, people don't tend to particularly care for this guy, I don't think. It's kind of a meme at this point. But okay.
This is very up close and personal.
Where's your mask, Hasan?
Should I be making faces? I don't know. No. I literally do this for a living, but it's still always strange when you're like staring directly into it. What's going on, everybody?
That's true. Like, it's weird to like stare into a camera.
I'm Hasan. I'm staring into your soul right now.
Ooh,
I would say I solidified my success when I was able to get AOC on my show to play Among Us with a bunch of other people, and that kind of dictated the terms for a lot of political campaigns and how they recognize.
And then at that point stops having conversations with actual political people and mostly kind of virtue signaled over issues and pretty much.
This new social media platform like Twitch.
Oh my god.
Wow, that must have been racially motivated.
Oh my god!
That was certainly a defining moment for me, where I thought, like, damn, like, I did this so casually, but like, people are paying attention to this.
The music is a bop, bro. What's happening? Why are they doing these long dramatic pauses? It's creepy.
If you believe that democracy works...
Bro, not for nothing, but Cenk Uygur, man, seems like a real disingenuous piece of shit. My understanding is this guy's just trying to like money farm the fuck out of people. Like, he's been promising a book for 3 years. It hasn't come out yet, but he's still asking for pre-orders. Real kind of a scumbag, actually. So, okay.
In the level of governance, why don't you believe that we can implement democracy in the workplace, especially considering that adults spend 80% of their entire lives...
You know what democracy in the workplace looks like? It looks like crediting people for videos that they make, as well as not just playing them on your stream while you go to the bathroom. That's how. That's actually unironically how democracy works in the workplace.
Inside of these corporations, and these corporations are absolutely authoritarian in its structure.
The criticism that was thrown in my face has been consistent throughout my career.
Yeah, that you never guess the nepotism. Probably.
I'm an idiot. I'm a dumb bimbo. I don't know what I'm talking about.
That's because you're constantly doing shit that like makes you seem like you don't know what you're talking about. It's not the fact that you're wrong, because I feel like a lot of people are wrong. Like, I'm wrong, but it's just the confidence you have in being wrong and how much of like a dickhead you are about it, and how you really don't seem to have like any moral foundation. You constantly virtue signal about how people should, middle class and all this other shit. And how like Amazon's a terrible company. And like, I know it's a common criticism, but then like, oh, what do? You take an exclusivity contract with Twitch. You take that contract. It seems like you're not really doing anything positive other than being like a bullshit mouthpiece. And like, which is fine that you're an advocate, but then you don't put your money where your mouth is, and you constantly say like, oh, I'm not an activist. I'm just a Twitch streamer. You set like these really weirdly low expectations on yourself while you set really high ones on other people. Then you buy like luxury cars, you buy like a big fucking house, and then you watch other people's content without actually reacting to it while you go to the bathroom and take breaks on your stream, and you go, well, I have to do it because I took an exclusivity contract and I have to pay my bills. It's like, okay, you've set a situation up where like you need to apparently take advantage of people, and that's exactly what businesses do. They take advantage of people and they go, but I had to because I need to make sure I can buy that yacht. And it's like, bro, nobody takes you seriously. Like, of course. And then you speak out of turn constantly on like a lot of different issues. Like, again, like when you talked about universal basic income, not a big fan of that. I thought that was like a really disingenuous fucking like way you talked about that. That's one that like I had an issue with. But then just the way that you talk about like Russia, shit like that, like you talk about things which is it's so shallow. Maybe like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, of course people are gonna call you dumb because you're so confident, but you're so wrong. It's the arrogance that you have. And now when people watch you, they watch you more for the spectacle of you rather than the actual information of you. You're just kind of like a joke at this point. honestly.
I've gotten numb to the criticism. Like it's not. It's as a matter of fact, I seek it out now because I make content out of it. I think it's funny and fun.
You look like you're hurt, Hasan.
I was born in
like
New Brunswick, New Jersey, and my parents wanted to do that so that I would have an American citizenship, so that one day I could be the president. Not that second part's not true, but I then immediately was shipped back off to Turkey.
No, he was wrong about Russia. Are you fucking stupid? I'm not trying to be rude to you. It's not that he was wrong about Russia. What are you talking about? Yes, he was. He literally said that Russia had a claim to taking land in Ukraine because there were Russians in it. And then he called like fucking Ukrainians Nazis. And you want to know why there's Russians in Ukraine? Because Ukrainians are being fucking genocided out of Russia. And then Russia is placing Russians in there so that later on they can go, well, we have Russians in here, so we have a claim. He is wrong. What are you, bro? What you're saying is bizarre. Because now you're like, I mean, the backlash. I know he was wrong. You just said he wasn't wrong. Anyway, yes, he was wrong about Russia.
I definitely did grow up fascinated by American culture. I'm a bit of a marabou, like a weeb for America, kind of, which is why I don't have an accent. For all of its faults, failures, and horrific policy decisions that destroy the planet, if there's one thing America's good at, it's selling America, and also
getting 9/11, which we deserved, guys. By the way, just so you know,
movies and degeneracy and hedonism, which I like. Why I didn't fit in was because I was just a nerd. Imagine back in the day, before like the Marvel Cinematic Universe was popping, and like everyone was like, "Oh, I'm a nerd. I'm a geek." Like that was like a fashionable thing to do. Like in the 90s, when you were like a nerdy kid, people were like, "What the fuck's wrong with you? You weirdo? Like you're watching anime, playing video games,
watching WWE, and doing the suck it thing, like to your friends." You remember that? You remember when people would do that? They'd be like, "Suck it," because I was like a big X Factor, whatever the fuck it's called, Generation X. Boom. It's pretty cool. Then we realized it was really gay, and then we still did it.
But in Turkey, all the kids at school wanted to play football, soccer, and I was just like, nah, I don't fuck with that. I just want to draw like Dota characters.
What did you just say? Why can't you just say Dota?
It's like, nah, I don't fuck with that. I just want to draw like Dota characters.
Bro, it's Dota. Come on, bro. What is that? That was weird. What are you doing?
I feel like most kids have a little bit of an anarchy streak in them. It's kind of like when you go to Catholic school and then you lash out and become like someone who doesn't believe in organized religion. As a consequence of that, it's kind of like that, where in third grade we had religion class, and I was just like this annoying little debate lord kid, and my teacher was like teaching us Islam, and I was like, well, this is technically religion class. Why are we learning only about Islam this way? I was just annoying, to be honest with you. That's what originally sparked it. I'm just a terrible Muslim.
Okay.
I mean, I was always really interested in politics from an early age. Politics is a big part of Turkish life. We talk about it all the time. Like in Western states, it's impolite to discuss politics, right? You're not supposed to talk about politics. And at the dinner table in Turkey is the opposite. Like that's all, we love talking about politics. I'm very critical of the government, and I'm very outspoken, and they're not too fond of that, I think. Political dissent is certainly suppressed in the country. That's something I worry about a lot. I always wanted to come to college here. Like this is so whack. But when they were younger, and people would say like, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a scientist, I was like, I want to go to college in America.
Very cool.
I went to university.
I mean, the music is a bop, I'll tell you that much.
University of Miami, my first year in the United States of America by myself, 18 years old. I immediately was like, I want to start promoting, because I was like, I'm used to going out from Turkey, because the drinking age there is 18. There's like a different drinking culture there. I would even go so far as to say a healthier drinking culture than the United States. I started doing...
You call me fat, bro? Because it's true.
Promotions, and I would just bring in people from my school to clubs and stuff, get them in places. My parents freaked out. They're in Turkey. They're Turkish, so they're like, you go to America to like get good grades and become very successful, become doctor or engineer or lawyer, and nothing in between. So they were like, what the fuck? You're not going to become doctor at this point. You're not going back to Miami. I was like, what do you mean? We're just not going to pay for college at all. So the only thing that had like open enrollment at the time was Rutgers.
Okay.
I graduated with honors from Rutgers.
So he's saying that he got sent like an all expenses paid college thing, and he decided to bum out of it, and then he had to go to Rutgers because his parents wouldn't pay anymore. Okay. Interesting. I mean, that's pretty typical. I think my wife went to school like upstate, and then she like failed her first year, and now she has a master's degree. Just that like stage, I guess, especially since you're popping away from your family for the first time. A lot of people they like doing that. It makes sense.
So I guess my parents were right to transfer me there. I'm looking for jobs, just like every.
What is that?
I graduated with honors from Rutgers, so I guess my parents were right to transfer me there.
They transferred you there? Hold on, I'm a little confused.
We're just not gonna pay for college at all. So the only thing that had like open enrollment at the time was Rutgers.
Okay.
I graduated with honors from Rutgers, so I guess my parents were right to transfer me there.
It's just weird that he said that the way that he presented it originally was that he was going to another college that they were paying for, and then they're like, we're not going to pay for your college at all. But then he's saying that he got transferred, his parents transferred him to Rutgers. So it kind of sounds like they did pay for your college still. But okay.
I'm looking for jobs, just like every other person is in my age group.
What's $60,000 a year? Rutgers? Is Rutgers $60,000 a year? Is that what you're saying?
In the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis, there's no jobs other than like,
blowjobs. Got him.
Shilling life insurance to your friends and family over the phone. I'll go to all these places and try to get a consulting job, like a consulting firm.
Rutgers is $60,000 a year. Wait, that's a downgrade? What the fuck? He made it seem like he went to like a fucking community college. That's fucking incredible. How much does 4 years cost? Oh, no, it doesn't. It doesn't cost $60,000. It's like $30,000 for the 4 years. I guess it depends on which one you go. If he stayed on campus, it would have been $30,000. Unless you're a non-New Jersey resident. I don't know. I guess it depends on where you're at. Were we thinking of the right school? I don't know.
And I didn't have connections. I didn't have anything. I didn't know anyone. I just couldn't find a job. So I was like, you know what? I want to get the fuck out of New Jersey. Like, I want to get.
I was in New Jersey. Okay, yeah. So Rutgers in New Jersey. Let's see. Tuition and fees. I don't know. So it really doesn't matter which one. Did he say New? Like even on campus, he probably did was like $30,000 and he's in New Jersey, so he's a resident there. So it's but this is for all 4 years. Oh, this is per year. Holy shit. This is an expensive school. What the fuck? This is still pretty expensive. The room and board, $13,000. So I'm assuming he stayed on campus. Maybe he didn't. So it's at least $15,000 to $30,000 a year. That's a lot of money. Holy moly.
Get out of here. I want to go to Los Angeles. And my uncle at the time had a little YouTube channel / network called the Young Turks Network. I was like, I'll go intern there. Okay. And I lied basically to my parents. I was like, I'm going to totally study for the LSATs in Los Angeles while doing this internship. I was, I mean, I did study for the LSATs, but I was not interested in going to law school. Let's be real. I lived in his house and interned for him. And then I got a job with them, the Young Turks.
Okay.
I was the first person to join on and like take charge of the advertising sales and operations. I always wanted to do something on camera, even though I was terrible. Like I was just so bad on camera. It was awful, but I still wanted to do it. And,
it's just interesting. I've seen him talk about his life and it's like, he talks about it as if, I don't know. I don't know. I've seen him try to downplay the amount of privilege that he's got. I'm not saying I don't have my own, but so far, like, good for you. I'm just saying, like, okay, you got out of college, there were no jobs, so you got to basically work for your uncle. You say intern, but you live at his house for free. So, you know what I mean? And I'm assuming he's paying for food and shit. So, which is great. Now, my uncle got me a job too. He got me a job at a bus company. I worked my way up to a bus washing manager. So I get it. It's just like it seems like a bit of a downplay, but okay.
Thought I had, creative ideas while I was building out our advertisement operations, while I was building out like these cold call lists, building relationships with like buyers and sellers, trying to learn this entire field on my own as like a new person with like no older experienced veteran guiding me. I was also simultaneously like, I want to build a show. I want to be on a show and produce a show, no matter what. Luckily, it's YouTube. It's not like TV, so it's not as, the boundaries aren't as well defined. So what I started doing was I presented myself as a fill-in host. I was like, I will go on and I will fill in if one of the main hosts of any of these shows don't want to be on. And it was the entertainment side. Once every 3 to 4 weeks, someone would be sick, I'd fill in. And then I was like, look, I can do this.
I hung out with the Turkish people in the middle in high school. They have money. Shit, that's awesome, bro. I wish I was Turkish.
Do this. Let me build my own show. So I basically
I guess it's probably the people who are able to like come here that are rich, not Turkey in general, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's usually the rich people. Like I think the same thing is from like Nigeria and stuff. Like the people who are able to come here usually tend to be the people with more money, because we do, I forget what it's called, but we tend to allow immigration for people that already have money for the United States. That's actually one of the ways in which we kind of like suck up talent and success from other countries. I know it sounds weird, but like when you only take the best of people from other countries, it tends to leave less people to kind of guide their own country. It's very interesting. You know,
purpose the supply closet, put a camera in there and a teleprompter, and started writing and like scripting out shows and shooting them for free. Like they're not paying me for it, and I'm still doing my advertisement stuff. And it was successful.
Let's be honest. 2016 made me want to kill myself. There was a lot of vitriolic race baiting going on.
Everyone was interested in politics all of a sudden because Trump is impossible to ignore.
It's true. Trump really got everybody on board with politics. Thank you so much for the sub, brother. Trump really did. Like I started getting into politics with Trump as well. You know, I agree with that.
Those videos went insanely viral. It was right around the 2016 election cycle coverage. There were a lot of conservative commentators that were blowing up in the same age range as myself.
Wow, I didn't know that Ricky Martin was a conservative content creator.
Tommy Lauren was the famous one that I was like, this is so easily dismantled. Like, I saw her getting like 30 million, 40 million views on videos where she was basically just repurposing like old school racist agitprop. Like,
it's crazy, man, because you want to know what? In all honesty, like I think that like 2016 to 2020 was a really easy time to look intelligent. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like I know, like myself on TikTok, like what were the conversations? What the commentary on TikTok was like? It was not difficult. People were like all over the place, and people just wanted somebody that like kind of like a voice to reason that wasn't saying anything particularly like incredibly intelligent. And I remember that's how I blew up on there. And then after that, the conversations became less and less. So that's why I gravitated away from it. But like there's you know, the way where I was in 2020 after the election was over, I think was like I was exponentially like less intelligent than I am now. Like I did my best to like educate myself, and you know, of course, we're always educating, but I feel like that's where the decline in everything comes from for a lot of political commentators. And obviously, Hasan's bigger than me, but I think that's part of it too. I think he looked really smart until 2020 was over, and then all of a sudden, like it's not easy anymore. Trump was easy to be like, wow, that's bullshit. And people who rode Trump's dick was easy to call out because they were just fucking absurd, and they were confidently absurd. And then you hit 2020 hits, and all of a sudden, what the fuck's going on now? You know what I mean? And that really showed the people who were intelligent. They rose to the top more. They maintained their platform because they always wanted to put the work in, and they had like a lot more to talk about. And I'm nowhere, like I said, I'm nowhere near as big as Hasan. Well, I am. I'm morbidly obese, but like I feel like that's what happened with Hasan as well. Is that like just kind of realized that he wasn't really saying anything particularly profound. And now he's kind of become like a shell of his own content because he's become big, and he doesn't really need to. Like he doesn't engage in conversation. He doesn't really educate himself further on the things that he thinks. He doesn't test his moral aptitude or whatever you want to say it. Or his intellectual ability. He kind of just sits on stream and yells and makes money, and he's hot. Yeah, that's the truth too. So I think that's primarily the reason why, you know, he's been getting a lot of heat. It's because I think he's confidently ignorant as well. So
she was just saying racist shit. Like that's it. Like black people are violent. Like that's what she was basically saying. But everyone was like, oh my god, but this is like a young blonde lady saying it, like a young blonde.
Well, if it's a young hot blonde girl saying it, she might be right.
Girl saying it, so it's somehow different.
Tommy got rewarded with fat media contracts and millions of views for saying everything short of the N-word in the same landscape where I struggle to get you to even follow my YouTube page.
This is something that I guess.
It's so funny because Hasan criticizes people that criticize him by saying he's part of like the Clips industrial complex or whatever. But I guess he was doing the same thing, huh?
So easily dismantle these arguments. So I started doing that. And then my videos started getting more views than her videos. My videos critiquing her videos would get more views. That's how it started. Like that's how I originally blew up.
And now Hasan is the progressive Tommy Lauren, but not as bad. Tommy Lauren was horrible. Let's just be honest. But that's how it is, man. This is how the pipeline goes, brother. And for a time on TikTok, I was also that. Yeah. It's fucking sad, man. You just become a fucking idiot. That's life, brother.
Wait a minute. Pause the music. Does that say she got too upset? Is she apologizing for her words because she was triggered?
Have you ever met her?
One time, she was doing a Man on the Street interview in West Hollywood Corner, and I approached her producer to be on it. This was like years later, and she got super mad. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" So the producer was like yelling at her producer, "I'm not gonna have him on. I'm not gonna have him on. Do you know who that is?" That's the only interaction we've ever had. To be fair, I think she'd probably now love to get on my show because that's for clout. Now she's washed.
I would say I would watch the two of you have sex. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Nobody watches or cares about Tommy Lauren anymore. Pundits have no skill. We just talk shit. That's all we do in an entertaining way. The best thing that the Young Turks did was just like build this insecurity within me that like no matter what I do, I will always be in the shadow of my uncle and be
what a struggle
in the shadow of the Young Turks. So I would work really hard and I would like come up with these creative ways of doing things other people weren't doing.
The Young Turks also fell off pretty much just as hard as Tommy Lauren, honestly.
And even when there was demonstrable success, because of, I guess, fears that Jank would come across as like doing nepotism, he would go extra hard on me and would just be like, all right, cool IP. We're just gonna give it to everyone else in the company now. It's the company's IP.
Yeah, that's how it works, man. Like you usually there's two directions when you have like when you get a job with somebody, they'll either harder on you or they're softer on you. It's really one of those two. And like my uncle was harder on me in my job. One of the guys I work with, his father was much softer on him. Like this kid literally did fucking drugs and got away with it. It's crazy shit.
So it definitely just like put a chip on my shoulder.
Create a community.
2018 is when I decided I want to build out my own like thing on the internet. I don't want to be just another pundit on the Young Turks. I don't want to just like have my own Instagram. I want to do something more. I want to have a place that I can go to every day, like where I have my own community. And so I started Twitch streaming, and I was at the time playing Fortnite already. I was playing it for like 4 hours after work. Regardless, and I was playing with some other pundits. I was already playing with these guys, so I was like, this would be interesting if I just strapped the camera on and just started broadcasting it. And it started growing and growing. And before I knew it, I had 1,000 people watching, and then 2,000, 4,000. Right around that time, I said something about 9/11 that like everyone agrees with, but in a way that no one will say or agree with.
You mean when you said that? When you said that we deserved 9/11? Okay.
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it. I'm saying it. Like, we fucking totally brought it on ourselves, dude. Holy shit. We did. Like, how is this? How is anything I'm saying controversial? Like, we fucking fund the people who did 9/11 still to this day.
Yeah, there's probably some truth to that, but we all know about it. It's the way that he said it. It was intentionally divisive. Like, people like died in 9/11. People are still struggling. We're still struggling to get our fucking government to pay for the treatment of people who are still negatively impacted by the cancers because of like what the fucking asbestos and other shit in the walls. Like, you could have said like, yeah, America, they did because the way that they interact with the Middle East and whatnot, and they basically brought it on themselves, America. But like, bro, that it is the way that he said it was intentionally divisive. And this is one of those things that is very annoying because people won't acknowledge that they're intentionally like hate farming. They're hate farming. It's like, yeah, dude, people are going to be really upset by that. It's just like shitty. It's fucked up, bro. It's just fucked up.
I said America deserved 9/11. Obviously, what I was talking about within the frame of the conversation was about America's foreign policy.
But you were referring to that, but you were being intentionally antagonistic about it. Like, that. That's why you got the reaction you wanted, man. You got the hateful reaction. That's the reality. And now you're probably gonna sit back and play like a victim framing kind of a scenario, but okay.
And the blowback from America's foreign policy, because it was directly talking about like funding Al Qaeda and funding the Saudi government. Our actions in the Middle East directly caused 9/11 and numerous other catastrophes, and our efforts of consistently destabilizing the region continue and make the world a worse place.
Didn't you just make fun of this guy's eye and like how he got like fucking shot or something? You said like horrible shit about this guy too, about Crenshaw. It's Dan Crenshaw, right? Like, come on, you don't pretend like you were trying to have like a really nuanced, virtuous conversation. You're trying to be a fucking dickhead.
And like the outrage machine basically took my...
The outrage machine. I hate the way he talks about stuff because he acts like he doesn't deserve any of the blowback. It's fucking crazy, dude. He's such a victim.
Spicy and vulgar language to the next degree, a terrorist supporting a communist Muslim TYT commentator. Hasan Piker, Tucker Carlson was talking about it, Fox and Friends was talking about it. There was a moment I remember still, like, everyone brought it up on the Fox News lineup. Like, everyone brought it up and did coverage over it. Laura Ingraham had Dan Crenshaw on to, like,
and that's when he started generating a fan base of a lot of fucking dickheaded assholes that hate America. You can have the nuanced conversation about it, like, yeah, you know what, we did some policy shit, but that's not what you were doing, because that would have never made the news, bro. Nobody would have cared if you said, like, yeah, you know what, we did deserve 9/11 as a country, not as a people, because of, you know, X, Y, and Z. It's not what he said. He was being a fucking asshole about it. He wanted to have an excuse to say, like, some fucking hateful dickheaded shit.
Cry about it, literally, just like on camera. He had like his like little 48-hour press tour where he was like, you seem so triggered. It's like, dude, you're literally going on national television as a fucking adult. You're like a Purple Heart veteran, and you're talking about some dumb idiot on an internet show on,
oh my god,
Twitch.
Bro, that's all it is. It's like, hi, you look stupid for referencing me. I'm just some guy on Twitch that makes, you know, millions of dollars. Dude, see, this is what I'm talking about, bro. This is such like fucking slimy interpretation of what he said. Like, holy shit. He's such a fucking little dickhead. He's such a disingenuous piece of shit. Holy fuck. Like, just say, like, you know what, I said something very inflammatory. I didn't mean it to come off that way. And people rightfully got upset. That's all you had to say, bro. But you're doubling down because it's just like, it's the desire, like, this type of spicy shit's what made you popular. Like, that's what made you popular. It's because you'll say ignorant shit confidently. Like, the most popular people don't tend to be the most intelligent people. Let's just be honest here. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just say as many spicy things as possible confidently so that you don't feel bad about it, and then pretend that you're the victim.
Talking shit.
And then find people that I will identify with the stupid shit you're saying
about you. And he definitely did. He cried about it a lot. He got a lot of mileage out of that. Good for him. Basically.
So did you.
After that, I was getting like a sea of death threats. And I got suspended from Twitch for like 7 days, I think. I feel like I was putting undue stress on the company as well, like by being there. Because everyone was getting death threats. Like, literally.
You feeling bad about Twitch? Isn't that the company that fucking steals labor from their workers? You're feeling bad about Twitch, huh?
Everyone that worked there were getting death threats because of me.
That's
because of what I said on Twitch. That's the modus operandi of the right. We are all used to it at this point. If you're in media, you're.
That's the mode. It's how are you taking shots at conservatives? People tell you to kill yourself all the time. It's pretty fucked up. But you told people who, like, bro, 9/11, for people who remember it, was one of probably the scariest time in a lot of people's lives. People died, and like, we were attacked on American soil. And I understand the nuanced conversation about like the things that the American government did for us to generate the situation. But stop pretending like can we not pretend that all conservatives are just grifting over this? Can we understand that like people are still people, and when people die they get upset? Like, it's not that hot of a fucking take. I didn't think that this was going to be an entire video just with Hasan trying to reprogram his audience over like a shitty thing that he said.
You're like, yeah, death threats, like, you know, it's gonna happen. But like, a lot of those people certainly did not deserve the additional scrutiny and death threats they were getting. I felt terrible about that.
What a victim.
Definitely one of the other reasons why I was like, I'm gonna keep saying some fucked up stuff. So I don't wanna link it back to these guys.
That's
I was like, I'm gonna keep saying some fucked up stuff. So I don't wanna link it back to these guys. It got to a point in 2019 where I would wake up at 6 a.m, write videos, shoot those videos, be done by 2, like, you know, give edits to the editors, produce the video itself, upload the video, right, by like 2 p.m. to like 4 p.m., upload the video, go to the gym, work out, cook my chicken really quick and hastily, and then start streaming all the way till the night, like for another at least 6 hours, 7 hours. And it was.
That's cool, but that's kind of typical, because like at that time you would like, I mean, listen, you wake up, you go to work, you come home and you work out, and then you go and you play video games. But you just recorded it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. It's a pretty typical thing for people to do. I know, because he's putting it in ways like, I worked really hard. It's like, I'm sure you did work hard. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like, you did this was very normal for people. This is incredibly normal for people. Like, I know I'm a fat fuck, but I used to work out. Like, I used to be into like strongman, and like I'd get up. I worked at like later, so I'd get up. I would go to the gym, and I would go to work for 8.5 hours. Then I would come home, and then I would play video games. I just didn't stream it. You know what I mean? Like, I played video games the whole night. You know, he just didn't have a social life. It sounds like every small streamer, sounds like every normal person. And then he threw in some commentary too, which is cool. The framing is like, I was a pretty hard worker. Yeah, pretty average. Pretty mid. Pretty mid there, brother. Pretty mid.
It was insane. It was probably the craziest thing I've ever done. And that's when I started really growing on Twitch. And the Young Turks was basically like, what are you doing? You're just like live streaming while we're also live streaming. When I got to a certain point, they were like, you can't do this. We want you to do more for the company if you want to still keep working here. So I was fucking terrified. I was like, I'm not going to have health insurance if I leave the Young Turks and go on Twitch. Like, I could lose everything. And eventually...
And that's why we needed universal health care. Because I was going to lose my insurance.
They got to a point where they were like, yeah, no, you can't. Like, you can't stream. Well, we're streaming. Like, during the hours that we're streaming from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So anytime there's like a Young Turks show, and they're live literally all day, you can't be live streaming. So I was like, okay, I'm out.
Wow, it sounds like your uncle fucked you over pretty hard there, Hasan. Sounds like a real scumbag fuck.
I have no guarantee. Like, I have no stability. I have no guarantee. I have some money saved up from just never really spending money, but it was a little terrifying. But it happened to be the best decision of my life. Twitch is a live streaming platform, so it's basically like YouTube, but
But didn't he have thousands of viewers at this point? I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole, but he said that the views kept going up, and then he had like 5,000 viewers on a stream. That's a lot of people to watch you stream, and it was enough people that would make it so that it would take viewers away from the Young Turks, or at least make them feel like that. I just don't like the framing. It's like I'm sure you were a little afraid, but like there was really not a whole risk. You haven't really had so far you haven't displayed anything out of the normal, any risk. You know, your uncle's an asshole for sure, douchebag. But like you're like, yeah, I was like, okay, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna stream. I only had 5,000 people watching me, but I'm gonna fucking quit my job and stream. It's like, okay, that sounds like a pretty safe bet. It's not. I guess you're making pretty good money with 5,000 people watching your stream. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, all right, it's a pretty big risk, but okay.
Everyone is live all the time, and now it's becoming more and more like a platform where people like myself build shows and talk and broadcast and basically do like podcasts, things like that. My main driving force.
Sometimes they jerk off, but just not on this Twitch. There's a different type of Twitch where you could do that.
Is my subscribers, my community. So
I think, what do you say? You had like a little money saved up? You had a fucking ton of money saved up. Give me a break.
One of the reasons why I originally joined Twitch was because I'm a gamer myself. I played video games a lot when I was growing up. And it was important in my life and upbringing. But I saw that the gaming space on YouTube especially was like very slanted towards the right. It would constantly talk about like, look at this blue-haired, gender non-conforming college freshman crying hysterically. And then you had like the pundits that would go and debate them and, own them by using Heritage Foundation talking points as like a full-blown adult. Putting a microphone in the face of like a fucking 18-year-old who's like trying to figure out the world. And those things would go super viral. I'm a leftist, I'm not a liberal, I'm beyond a liberal. And I wanted to use my privilege for good with that respect. It's like nothing you say is going to target me personally beyond just saying like I'm an idiot. So I will take advantage of that and try to educate you on why you're being a dumb bitch for, freaking out about like.
And a cracker. I hope he threw that word in there. Throw that controversy in there. Say it with an A though, Hasan. Okay, just because we're white doesn't mean that you should say it with a hard R. Okay,
a random person, a random 18-year-old in college. A lot of gamers are progressive. For the most part, it's like a very diverse space.
What?
Random person, a random 18-year-old in college. A lot of gamers are progressive.
I don't think that's true. The gaming space is maybe. I mean, I don't think that most gamers are kind of regressive. I think they're mostly edgier. There's more gamers that aren't, which is cool, and we're shifting. But I don't know if you'd say they're all progressive, but.
For the most part, it's like
I'm not going to get banned. I'm saying it with an A, dude. I'm allowed to say it with the A. You have to understand that, bro.
Diverse space, but I didn't like that.
It's my word.
Most of the representation of like people who are non-political or presented themselves as non-political were actually very political and were like super far right. Like they were right-wing as hell. And I didn't like that. And
right-wing is a curse word, guys.
I wanted to show people that like if someone educates you in a calm manner or in an entertaining manner, you will recognize that like you yourself have a lot of progressive values that you personally believe in.
I don't think that that's you. You might have done things like that, but you are super antagonistic. Entertaining, that just means you yell at people and you're incredibly divisive and you're an asshole. But okay. Where's that now? Where's the calm educational conversation? Instead you're screaming that fucking people in Ukraine are neo-Nazis.
And you can unlearn some like dumb things that you learn from these like weirdo neckbeards on the internet.
Like Charlie Kirk.
I do have a pre-existing condition, and now that my insurance company can't deny me coverage, I like that, but I hate Obamacare. Like, oh, okay, good that you hate Obamacare while simultaneously preaching all the things that happened in Obamacare.
It's pseudo-intellectual.
I mean, most people's argument is like, oh, we like that. Well, a lot of people actually aren't super aware that one of the reasons that the price of insurance went up is because of that. Like, that is a reason. When people talk about how expensive Obamacare is, they don't seem to understand that one of the reasons it's expensive is because you can't get denied for pre-existing conditions, which means that overall they increase the prices because you're going to have more people that are higher risk on insurance, and they're going to have to mitigate their prices by charging more. And that's something that people don't understand about Obamacare. That's probably the biggest thing that people don't understand about it. In general, so
Wrestling for people who want to be entertained. I think most people don't see it just as entertainment. They see it as like a way to test the mettle of your ideas, like in the marketplace of ideas or whatever. It's bullshit. It's just like it's a game of rhetoric. Whoever has a more powerful command over the language, whoever's more charismatic, whoever's more confident, will always functionally win a debate. Now,
yeah, that's why debates are bullshit.
What do you win in a debate? That's up for debate. It could be educational. It certainly gives you talking points that you can use to combat misinformation.
The problem is that he won't really engage in like reasonable conversations with good faith individuals ever. That's kind of the problem, right? I know he's afraid of Destiny or whatever, because we say we want about Destiny, he can be a fucking idiot, but he's also a pretty intelligent guy that tries his best to be like as good faith, I guess you'd say, as possible. And I know that Hasan's afraid of him. So
in your life, but beyond that, it's not like, I don't think it's the end all be all at all. I think people should be more honest about their point of view.
Yeah, him and Destiny used to be good friends. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's because Destiny helped platform Hasan. Destiny used to help a lot of smaller content creators He still, I guess, does. He'll talk to anybody. After, I genuinely believe, like, after he didn't really see any value in Destiny anymore, he just decided not to give a fuck. This is the kind of person that you don't. It's really scummy because, like, you can dislike somebody and that's totally fine. But I feel like there's a lack of appreciation. Like, if somebody helps you out with something, like, you should be grateful to them in some capacity. Like, at the very least, you should be like, this guy gave me a shot and platformed me when nobody else would. At the very least, I will look at him in a more positive light. You know what I mean? At the very least, I know him as a person. So you know what? When he said this dumb thing, I could disagree with it while also not completely shitting on him. But people love to shit on Destiny. A lot of progressives love to shit on Destiny too, even when Destiny doesn't really say anything that's particularly harmful. He does say dumb shit, but they like to shit on him because it makes them appear virtuous. And everybody's like, oh, Destiny's just part of it. He's just like, he's basically a conservative alt-right individual because I'm a completely vapid fucking moron that can't think beyond, 3 sentences. That's really what it boils down to. It's a lot of dumb fuck kids. And what happens is a lot of these dumb fuck kids take control of the people. Their audiences will take control of the content creator by giving them negative feedback any time that they talk positively about somebody that they don't like. And the content creator can either like stand firm and be like, hey, listen, I disagree with you as my audience, and be like an actual adult, or they can pander to those fucking children like another child. And that's what happens in just spaces in general. This happens. This is not exclusively progressive. This is something that happens in all spaces. This happens in the drama spaces. You can look at like Ethan Klein. You can look at like Hasan. You can look at a lot of people like that. But this is what happens, and then they end up catering to children. A lot of times, it's like a lot of dumb young fucking people instead of just like giving a little pushback into their audience. That pushback is where people educate themselves. But if you're just constantly saying things that your audience wants to hear, what are you really educating anybody on? You're not. You're just yelling. You're talking at a wall at that point. What's the point of even making content anymore? What's the point in making like political or educational content? Like, you might as well just make Elden Ring content at this point.
And as long as they have an open mind and want to learn, it's good.
But that's how you generate a lot of viewers. That's how you get a lot of views. But that's not really how you have like a reasonable platform, like an educational or intelligent platform. Respect your freedom.
I just made my own choices and built my own business model, I guess, if I were to use a term like that. Yeah. I paved it on my own because I thought like...
Well, you also had like a tremendous amount of support from your parents and your uncle. Let's not. Can we not use the pave it on your own argument? I know it's a small word, but you didn't pave it on your own. You literally had tremendous amounts of help from tons of people. You had massive financial backing. Your parents like paid for your school. You went and you interned with your uncle. He let you live at his house for free. Then they paid you. You talk about having health insurance. You literally like you didn't pave anything yourself. Like I just don't like the framing when you didn't do that thing. It's not a way to stay humble when you've been given every opportunity. You're like, yep, I got all these opportunities, and you know what? I made the right choices because I had opportunities to make right choices. Like oftentimes the right choice is very contingent on whether you have the resources to make the right choice. I just don't like I've paved it on my own. No, you didn't. You didn't even do that. What are you talking about? You really didn't. Like, what was something that you did that was like particularly unique? Nothing. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with like living in other people's spaces, getting help from like TYT and Destiny. Let's be honest here, because I didn't think Destiny paved the way for like a lot of like political conversation. Why are you saying the way that you're saying it? It's just like, do you actually believe that I feel like this is the thing. This is the verbiage I don't like from people. It's like the I deserve it ID. He's basically saying he deserves what he's getting. No, we don't deserve any of this shit. Like, we don't deserve it. It's a lot of it's luck, and some of it's skill, and that's cool. And some of it's concentrated power of will. I threw that in there like that. But it comes off as kind of entitled, man, when you speak about it like this. It's just like, you stop with paving myself. Fucking pave these nuts, bro. Play.
This is a concept that I think is cool, gaming. This is a concept that I think you can marry with gaming, political commentary.
Yeah, but you didn't pave the way for that. That's literally a Destiny thing. Destiny quite literally paved the way for that. You don't have to like him, but like that's what he did. He was the first one that sat there and fucking debated people while playing the cringiest game in the world, League of Legends. You didn't pave anything. He's trying to pretend like he created the space. What a fucking dickhead. He's such a fucking piece of shit. It's a fucking meme at this point. Dumb fucks. Holy shit. I couldn't have the confidence to talk about myself like this. I could barely take a compliment from other people, let alone fucking telling people that I was a trailblazer in a space that was already created for me. It's fucking crazy, dude. Honestly, nerf minor, dude.
My church background also gave me a very different perspective on America's involvement in world affairs. Most Americans don't recognize this or know this, but like outside of America, people kind of look at Americans as like psychos, because we're fucking psychos. We're bloodthirsty psychos. And most of the planet recognizes that, except we don't recognize it. And then we're like, no, everybody loves us.
What's incredible is I haven't really seen him sit down and explain to people what that really means, right? It's nice to talk about how America's had negative impacts, but then like I was listening to Jon Stewart the other day. I love Jon Stewart. Can I just tell you, he's an incredibly intelligent person. And I watched a video where they talked about climate change. And I always hear this climate change talking point from people where it's like America pollutes very little, which I always thought was true. It's like, oh, really? If you reduce the amount of pollution in like India and China, then we wouldn't have to reduce our own pollution. And we're already so economically green and et cetera. And Jon Stewart's like, that 99% of the shit in the air right now has come from America historically, through our like industrial revolution and whatnot. We've had like the most profoundly negative impact on the planet ever. Of course, we should be the ones to handle the climate issue. We should be the ones that should create economic incentives to transition towards electricity and other outlets. And they talk about the reason why. You want to know why? One of the reasons why we don't really give a fuck? It's because oil companies, right? Oil companies make a lot of money. You don't make as much money on like greener solutions because you spend a lot of money to like drill oil into the ground. There's like a risk reward factor. But what the fuck? It doesn't cost a lot to harness the sun. So there's not a huge like profit margin. So they don't really give a fuck. They're like, fuck it. Who cares? We already have the infrastructure. It's very difficult to develop the infrastructure to farm oil. Basically, it is comparably, I think it's less expensive for developing countries to utilize greener things like solar, because you don't have to what are you going to run out of the sun? I mean, maybe we'll all be dead though. You can't really run out of the sun. You don't have to farm for sunshine so much. Like obviously there's going to be better areas to place solar panels in, but that's easier to do than figure out where oil is and fracking and all that shit. Excuse me. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. That's a really interesting point, and I never would have thought about it. And that's criticizing America the way that America needs to be criticized. That's telling Americans that we have a responsibility, we have a duty as American citizens to set an example for the world and lead the world in reducing our emissions. Because the reality is this. You want to know all the people that are saying we're going to die by 2030 and 2052? It's not true. But you want to know what? Other people in other countries are going to fucking die. And you want to know why? Because as the temperature rises and it gets hotter, we still have access to air conditioners. And you're going to laugh, but people fucking die when they're in the sun. When temperatures rise and you're already living in an area that's already hot and you can barely afford air conditioning, you're gonna die. You're sleeping in 80, 90, 100-degree weather. You're waking up at temperatures higher than that. They can't handle the environmental impacts. Heat stroke is going to be a huge issue, as well as other things. It doesn't just make everything warmer necessarily. Like, there's going to be flooding, etc. It has a negative impact. And I hate people that are like, well, no, actually, humans don't have any impact. Okay. You don't think that pollution has an impact on the world? Well, go into your garage. I want you to go to the garage, close it, take a tube, put it into the tailpipe of your car, funnel it into the car, sit in there and turn it on. And just tell me how long before you don't want to do that anymore. Because if you're going to acknowledge that it'll kill you if you sit in a small space with a fucking tube shooting horrible toxins into your face, do you not think that that's going to happen in the world? And that would be like, that's the way that you talk to your audience about this kind of stuff. Like, that's the way that you talk about shit. That's how you educate Americans on their negative impact of being Americans without attacking them for being human beings. Because we don't know this. Do you think about anything that I said? No. Approaching people with the right perspective, of course, is going to make people go, oh, wow, that's an interesting point. Hasan doesn't do that. He tells people that we deserve 9/11 with no nuance. It's an ignorant thing to say. And it's not, the way he says it is intentionally antagonistic. He doesn't care about educating people. He just cares about money, bro. That's it.
We're the world police. Come on. I want to educate people. I want to entertain people while I do that. And I want people to have a better, more positive approach to dealing with issues and develop a better understanding of why they
Does he really feel like he does this with his content? That's incredible.
feel the way that they do. That's my ultimate goal. And I feel like I achieve that on a day-to-day basis.
I don't think that's true.
With my commentary and with everything I do. So
I think I
guess that's great. The reason why
I think he believes this, though. I think that he actually believes this, which is the more concerning thing. I don't think Hasan's a grifter. I think Hasan is actually... he's actually thinks that he's having a positive impact. It's incredible.
To make a non-linear career out of what I'm doing is because there's just no such thing existed at the time. I recognize how fortunate I am because I do something that everyone would want to do. Everyone would want to be able to do. Not necessarily, speak politics for hours and hours and hours to thousands of young people, but I mean, I'm able to speak my mind freely. That's a level of freedom that you will never be able to achieve in the workplace unless you have stronger labor protections, which are not going to happen because, capital owners and your bosses don't want that to ever happen.
It could happen if we did it in the right way, sure.
But I love that. That's the most important part of
I don't really like that, because I know that we're getting really into this. This is a very dramatic video, but I think it can happen if we operate in the right ways. The thing is I don't know that I've ever seen Hasan talk about a reasonable way that we could get there. Obviously, unions are not really great for America. I don't know. At least in my experience, unions are horrible. They'll still pander to their. The fucking problem with unions, at least in America, is that I was in a union and they still allowed my company to cut my benefits that were in the union book. They were rules. They were objectively in there. And they allowed them to cut it. I think that they'll take money from the company, they'll get extra hours, or they'll get additional pay, they'll get the extra fun jobs. It happens whether you like it or not. It's just a reality. And so you have to figure out what's a good way that we could increase workers. We can make it so that workers have more of a say. The best way that you can do that is by allowing the worker to be able to quit in some capacity, probably. A universal basic income, I'm not fucking memeing. It's it gives people the ability to be well, you know what? I could take a different job that maybe pays less because I don't really need the money. I have a universal basic income. It's a way that you can barter and get better working conditions. It also distributes wealth better so that there's going to be more job availability. There are ways to do it. I don't know. It's weird because I don't know. Just saying it'll never happen, it seems then what's the point of what you're doing if you don't think it'll ever happen? Because I think it can if we do it the right way. But if you don't think it's ever going to happen, then do you truly believe that the advocation that you're pushing for is correct? If you don't think it's actually going to have the outcome that you want it to, because if you think that we're never going to be able to do it, then then you're just virtue signaling at that point. If you don't think that anything you say has any impact, then why are you talking? So yeah,
making money for me.
Also, you kind of treat your workers like shit. I read the fucking story about how he basically had a guy make a bunch of videos for him, never paid him. And then also this whole fucking thing where he's threatening the people that make clips of him that he's going to DMCA them because they were projecting the misinformation that he was putting out there. Or the fact that you'll watch people's videos on stream with barely showing who made the video on the stream, and then also getting up and walking away. And yeah, sure, you react on a lot of the videos you do, but what about those videos you don't? You just watch them. And what's your response? Go fuck yourself. You take advantage of people in the same ways that you criticize other institutions for. So nobody takes you seriously. People are going to grow up and they're going to age out of what you're saying because they're going to realize that you're disingenuous. Young people are stupid. They think that you're being sincere, but you're very clearly not.
It's just like being able to have freedom and be able to do and say whatever I want when I want it.
Wow. What a cringy ass fucking video. Incredible stuff though, guys.
For Complex News.
Very, very good stuff. Very cool stuff. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down in the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.